Big Les's League, an all rugby league experience. Hello, welcome back to Big Les's League. Let's quickly go through your Sunday games, the Seagulls, the Sharks, the Knights, and the Dolphins. Apologies, this one is coming out a little bit late. We had a late night last night, because you can tell by the fact I can't really speak English properly at the moment. Went out for my younger brother's grand final. We also went to his presentation, which lasted a little bit too long. I went till about 11 o'clock last night, got home a bit late, and just went straight to bed. Didn't get to record the review for your Sunday games, but getting it out to you now. Seagulls, Sharks, Knights, Dolphins. Let's get into it. The Seagulls and the Sharks was first up, 40-20, the final scoreline. What a massive game for the Sharkies heading into finals, especially with how they've gone earlier in the year. The turnaround that they've had over the past 2 to 3 weeks has been absolutely outstanding. Britt Nikora, shining light here, obviously scoring the 2 last tries within 5 minutes of each other. Absolutely insane. He was great on that right-hand side as well, just facilitating like he has done over the past few weeks, but he's probably one of the better hole runners in terms of back rowers in the competition as well. And for his size, he runs those holes so well, and he plays bigger than he is. 133 metres in this one, 14 runs. He also had 2 tries to go along with that, as we said. He had 20 post-contact, 2 line breaks, 2 line break assists, 6 tackle busts, 28 tackles, only 2 missed. He was an absolute workhorse. Teague Wilton as well, 175 metres, 2 line breaks, 2 tackle busts, and 33 tackles. He was an absolute weapon in this game as well, getting through an absolute ton of work. I also thought that Rudolph and obviously the other starting front rower in this game, in Royce Hunt, I thought they started the game very, very well. The first stints for both of those guys were great, and they sort of came into their own by the start of this game. Obviously, with Sione Katoa scoring in the first few minutes, they got a lot of momentum to start this contest. Nicho Hynes, unreal performance, and we sort of criticised these 2 halves in Trindle and Hynes and the fact that they couldn't really work together because there were 2 sevens. Trindle's actually taken a little bit of a back seat. He's taken a bit more of a running role sort of thing, but still organising when he can, and then obviously Hynes does his thing when he can, but they also just link together better, if that makes sense. They're both doing their own things at stages on their own edges, on the right and the left, but they do come together on a lot of occasions and actually look good when they combine too. But I thought that Hynes was a great game for him coming back, 101 metres. Definitely did a lot with his running game. I think the tries were mostly set up here by Trindle, who had 3 line break assists, 2 try assists in this game, along with 71 metres. But Hynes was just great facilitating on that right-hand side, had some nice runs as well, and that was evident by his stats. I also thought that Kale Ito was outstanding in the centres as well, really destructive, 152 metres, 54 post-contact, 9 tackle busts. He was just an absolute workhorse, 17 tackles, only 1 miss. Will Kennedy at the back, he has slowly gotten better as well, particularly when he's had a few quiet weeks at the back end of the season. He's really sort of started to come into his own and peak around this finals period. And then the 2 legends off the bench in Jack Williams and Tommy Hazelton, I thought were outstanding, with 125 metres for Hazelton and a massive impact, setting up a try as well in this game for Jack Williams. And then Jack Williams as well, coming off the bench, just had a real impact coming through the middle. Hard runs, for a back rower that's sort of converted himself into a middle forward. He's done a sensational job this season. He's definitely been a bit of an improver. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't realise Jack Williams in this side, and obviously a lot of people don't know Jack Williams, who just spectate the game, but he just does the little things right, and he's had a big season, and I honestly think he's gone under the radar as one of those improvers as well. Jack Williams, he's been outstanding this year. As for the Seagulls, really fell apart in the second half, and I think they really missed Tom Trbojevic in this game as well. Just, him icing moments, but also just being the guy that can break the game open. Didn't really seem like there was a lot of guys that were willing to do that here in this Manly Seagulls side. There were some great performances. I thought that Cooler out the back was really nice. Silky as well, just returning the ball was nice as well. 3 tackle busts, 177 metres. Got through a ton of work. Ruben Garrick as well in the centres there, 125 metres off 12 carries. 52 post-contact in there as well, 22 tackles. I thought that Paseka and Matt Lodge started the game extremely well. It's a really good 1-2 punch sort of thing there, especially without Sipley in this side. Croker was doing some nice things at a dummy half. Hamoli Olakawatu looked dangerous on that right, 126 metres, 4 tackle bust. Josh Aloiai coming off the bench was nice. I thought Nathan Brown was just an absolute animal coming off the bench again today. It just seemed like they didn't have that Tom Trbojevic to break the game open, whereas I think going into next week, they're going to have that guy. They're going to have that guy that can break the game open for them, that can have the big moment a few more times in this contest. And, I honestly think if they have Tom Trbojevic, this game is a lot closer. This game is a 1-12 contest. And then just finally, before we go to the next one, Clayton Fa'alalo, absolute weapon. I thought he killed it on the weekend. Had some really nice touches. Obviously scored a try in this game early in the contest. 85 run meters as well. 4 tackle busts. Thought he did a really nice job and looked really dangerous in the air as well. Definitely one to keep an eye on in the next few weeks, depending on if Kula keeps his spot in the 17. For me, when Tom Trbojevic comes back, I think Kula does go to the wing, but we'll have to wait and see. Clayton Fa'alalo, definitely one to keep an eye on going into next week. Knights and Dolphins, 14-6, the final scoreline, which means the Knights are in the finals. They are in the top 8, and we'll obviously react to the final series when we get a chance today as well. We'll get that out to you as soon as we can. But 14-6, the final scoreline. Adam Elliott, huge performance from the Newcastle Knights, along with KP, who absolutely killed it. 13 tackle busts for KP. He was just absolutely electric. Daniel Saifidi and Leo Thompson through the middle. It's the best game they've both played collectively this season. I also thought that Dylan Lucas was dangerous there on that left-hand side. And then, Hetherington off the bench as well. Shorter stint, 26 minutes, but absolutely killed it and gave it his all. 115 metres in 26 minutes is an absolute workhorse number. Definitely a really solid performance for him. I also thought that Phoenix Crossland and Jack Cogger was one of their better games as a halves pairing too. That Crossland obviously only played the 64 minutes in this game. Tyson Gamble came on and played a little bit of a chunk there at halfback. But I thought that these two it was probably the better game with them in the halves. And for this rookie half pairing, I know that Cogger's not really a rookie, he's been around a while, but for this fresh halves pairing to do what they've done over the past few weeks to get them in this position, I think is a really underrated part as to why the Newcastle Knights are this team that are in this current position where they are, making finals at the moment as well, just sliding into the 8. And we said at the start of the year, if there's one team that's just going to flick themselves into the 8, just going to slide in there, it's going to be the Newcastle Knights, and they've done that. Marzio as well on the wing. What a gun. 229 metres, 7 tackle busts. Coming out of his own end was just an absolute nightmare to handle. KP, we spoke about him already, but was setting up tries left, right, and centre. 2 try assists marked down in this game, but he was involved in pretty much every single opportunity that they had. 13 tackle busts. 171 metres as we spoke about. No missed tackles out the back there. 2 kick defusals. He was so hard to handle. Dane Gagai and Bradman Best, two really solid weeks for them. They're going to be unreal in finals. And defensively, they're probably one of the better defensive pairings in the competition as well. Look, for me, Leo Thompson, Daniel Saifidi, Jack Hetherington, Adam Elliott, those were the main guys through the middle, giving this side a lot of momentum for KP to do his work. As for the Dolphins, where did it go wrong? For me, you look at the stats and it tells you the story. 69% completions there for the Dolphins. 12 errors, 8 penalties conceded to 3 there for the Newcastle Knights. That's where it went wrong. It was just errors, penalties, and then obviously 69% completions, 30 from 43 sets. Really disgusting. It is a Sunday slinger sort of stat line, but still a side that is trying to get into the 8. Just too many errors, too many penalties given away for me, and unfortunately, they lost the contest. Now, I personally think this is a game I would have brought Isaiah Katoa back into. Obviously, there were no changes really other than Mark Nichols going into lock and then Kenny Bromwich starting off the bench. But I personally would have brought Isaiah Katoa back for this game. I think that he would have made a difference. I think that, just some of the games that he's iced this year for them, with his kicking game and his temperament, I think it was much needed. Obviously Avarillo, he's only pretty much his second game this season in the halves. I think it's his fourth or fifth game in the halves in his career. I know he played a few games at halfback for the Dogs, but I'm pretty sure there was only like 5 or 6 of them, so maybe it's his 8th or 9th game in the halves. But yeah, look, for me, I just thought that with Sean O'Sullivan, he was playing pretty ad-lib. They sort of just needed a little bit more structure from him. Still had a good game, 21 runs, 115 metres, 36 tackles there. He got through plenty of work, 488 kicking metres. I just felt like they needed a bit more structure and temperament, especially in a side filled with such talented individuals. They just needed a little bit more temperament. Herbie Farnworth was a gun, 26 runs, 281 metres, 123 post-contact, 11 tackle busts. I tell you what, if he was in a winning side, he'd be in my team of the week for sure. Hammer was the same. He was a gun, 17 runs, 159 metres, and 8 tackle busts, 14 tackle busts for Trey Fuller, and 253 running metres. These guys were getting through plenty of work, coming out of their own end and in spread sets, but it just wasn't enough. The ill discipline cost them in this one. The Knights played very well off the back of that as well. Obviously had less of the ball, the Knights, but when they had the ball in hand, they completed better, and they just looked better all round for me. Their attack had a lot more, structure to it. There was obviously a goal at the end of sets where the Dolphins are playing very ad-lib and low percentage, and it cost them in key moments, unfortunately. And their bench forwards just didn't get the job done either. 18 run meters there for Ray Stone in 42 minutes. 38 run meters there for Mark Nichols, who ended up starting. Kenny Bromwich only had 13 run meters in 31 minutes. Just not getting it done through the middle there, unfortunately. And as I said, it did cost them in this game. Very unfortunate there for the Dolphins, who are now out of the finals. As for the Knights, I am, as I said, very excited to see how they play in finals football. Very, very good side here with a lot of spark, obviously, with KP, Bradman Best, Dane Gagai. These are the sort of guys I want to see in finals, and I honestly think that they're a bit of a dark horse if they play some good football, bit of structure. This completion rate for me needs to go up a little bit. It's at 78%. I want it around the 85 sort of mark if they want to go well in finals, but I honestly do think the Knights can be a bit of a dark horse if they want to be. We'll talk about that more a little bit later today when I get home from running some personal errands. We'll talk about the finals series that is upon us and obviously go through the draw and give our predictions as to how we think finals is going to go.
That's full time. See you in the next one.